One of the literary theories that is present in European literature is the postmodernism theory. Postmodernism. Postmodernism broadly refers to a social-cultural and literary theory and a shift in perspective that has manifested in a variety of disciplines, including the social sciences, art, architecture, literature, fashion, communications, and technology. It is generally agreed that the postmodern shift in perception began sometime back in the late 1950s and is probably still continuing. Postmodernism can be associated with the power shifts and the humanization of the post-Second World War era and the onslaught of consumer capitalism. The very term postmodernism implies a relation to modernism. Modernism was an earlier aesthetic movement which was vague in the early decades of 20th century. It has often been said that postmodernism is at once a continuation of a break away from the modernist stance. Postmodernism shares many of the features of modernism. Both schools reject the rigid boundaries between high and low art. Postmodernism even goes a step further and deliberately mixes low art with high art, the past with the future, or one genre with another. Such mixing of different incongruous elements illustrates postmodernism's use of light-hearted parody, which was also used by modernism. In postmodernism, fragmentation and disorientation is no longer tragic. Postmodernism, on the other hand, celebrates fragmentation. It considers fragmentation and decentredness as the only possible way of existence and does not try to escape from these conditions. Italian literature, a literary text entitled War by Luigi Pirandello. War by Luigi Pirandello is a short story about a couple whose son has been sent to war. They board a train to leave Rome, the departure spot for their sons and the young men going off to war. The wife felt she was the only mother who grieved about her son leaving. All the passengers on this train have one or more loved ones on the front in the war. This couple, who boards the train last, has their one and only son in war. The wife, especially, is grieving the most. The other passengers ask, "What is the problem?" only to be able to relate to her sadness. One woman speaks up and says that her son had left for the front the first day of the war, was sent back twice because of injuries, and was sent back yet again. Another woman stands up and adds in that she has 2 sons and 3 nephews at the front. The original husband relates back that it was their one and only son. This starts a conversation between passengers about the love for their sons and the suffering one may have to go through because she has 2 sons at the front. One woman adds that their sons do not belong to them, but to the country. A fat man stands up and makes the point that their sons, including his, will die happy because they were fighting for the love of their country and they died with dignity and in flame. He seems so strong and proud of his son. Then the very first wife, all bundled up in the corner, rose from her seat and asked the fat man if his son was really dead. The fat man had no words, but tears began to roll down his face, and he soon found himself in sobs to the amazement of everyone on the train. War by Luigi Pirandello focuses on the real problems of ordinary people, which makes this story relatable to realism. So realism is present in the story because the people are truly grieving about their boys going off the front. That is a real problem, and many of them are depicted by themselves and wearing very heavy clothes as to suggest that conditions may not be fair, and they have lost their spouse also. This story is like World War II because many people were mourning their loss of their sons or they're mourning their departure. They had real problems. Some lost their jobs, some lost their houses, and some lost their belongings, and the conditions were terrible.